RB10 in the consensus rankings. You referenced him earlier. Dylan Sampson, what's the eval?
He's exciting. So I mentioned, the point per game averages. He was 5th in point per games as a starting running back. One of just 5 running backs who averaged above 20 points per game. And that I bring that up because he is younger than all of these running backs.
I love that.
Yeah, and so that's pretty exciting. I don't know if he's going to be able to play on all 3 downs, but in 2024 he was used 118 times as a pass blocker. The only running back who has a higher single season number. This is total, so it is affected by the number of dropbacks for the team. But LaQuint Allen is the only one with a higher total number of pass blocking snaps in a season, and his pressure rate allowed was pretty good, definitely below average, which is good. And so, there's some path to him being somebody who can play on all 3 downs. He is a bit undersized for that type of running back, but he's over 200 pounds. So he's not, he's bigger than some of these other running backs we've seen recently who have been able to play more than expected on all 3 downs. He can make people miss. He's got crazy burst. He can turn any play into a touchdown. He's really exciting. I alluded to it earlier, but the stats do back this up. The system that he played in affected things for him. So 54% of his runs in 2024 came versus light boxes, which means there's 6 or fewer defenders at the line of scrimmage. That was the highest rate in the class. For comparison, on the low end, Caleb Johnson's rate was 23%. We talked about, with Matt Waldman, the offense there at Iowa really affects things. Way more under center running there. Samson ran almost entirely out of the shotgun. 41% was the average for 2025 prospects. So he definitely benefited from the offensive design. But I do think that he's got the skill set to project it. I don't want to go overboard with taking him in the mid first round or anything like that. But if you can get him at a spot where you're comfortable, I think it's a pretty comfortable projection because he's really, if you just watch him, he's really electric.
So I don't give away too much of Matt Waldman's rookie scouting portfolio on the show because I think you guys should all go buy it and read it because you'll get smarter about these backs. But I will say, when you look at Waldman's rankings, Samson is ahead of everybody we've talked about so far. Samson is ahead of 3 of the guys that we talked about on Friday. If he does get that starter's workload in the right situation, do you think this is a guy who could be a top 15, top 20 dynasty running back?
Yeah, I think you can definitely make that projection with Samson. In my head, he is ahead of all of these guys. I thought that the consensus was that he was ahead of Scadaboo as well. But I don't really keep up with where people are ranked, honestly.
Well, and at this point, when you're talking about consensus and we don't have draft capital, it is all really just I like this guy. So I think there's tiers. Nobody's probably going to move ahead of Ashton Genty at any point in this class. But when we're talking about RB 7 through 12, I think one of these guys could jump into the top 5 and it wouldn't be that surprising. And one of these guys could end up going undrafted and it might be disappointing, but it wouldn't be that surprising. I feel like we've taken pretty optimistic case for Samson other than the size, which is not 5'8", 200 or just over 200. That's big enough. What are the other concerns that you have for
him? He goes down a little bit easier than I would like. It's sort of like Neal. I think his contact balance is better than Neal, but he doesn't run super strong. We don't have a ton of opportunities to have seen him on film have a lot of congestion and contact to deal with. It's often getting him out in space. But I do wonder if he were drafted into a system or an offensive environment where the line is just getting blown up, if he just isn't able to do much. But there's very few running backs who are going to be able to make much of a situation like that, honestly. I'm pretty excited about him. I don't see any clear glaring weaknesses.
We did have somebody brought up the fumbling in the chat, and I noticed in Waldman's write-up that his ball security was graded lower than several of the players in this class. And that, again, that's another thing that fantasy managers probably just yawn when they get those -2 points. Coaches do seem to number. And some coaches really, like we remember about Bill Belichick used to be. So it's really just dependent on the coach and whether we're going to punish a guy right away. I think we saw Tyrone Tracy get punished for it for a little bit last year.
Yeah, no, that could be a thing for sure. That's a good note.